The Starlight Voyager glided silently through the mesmerizing colors of the Morny's nebula, its sleek hull reflecting the swirling hues of deep space. On the bridge, Captain Alara Thin's eye stalks focused intently on the forward screen. Her green, angular face displayed a mixture of anticipation and caution as the sensors picked up a faint distress signal. "Captain, we've got something," Lieutenant Clore reported, his claws dancing over the control panel. "It's coming from a derelict human vessel. No life signs detected, but it's definitely broadcasting a distress signal." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a salvage team. I want to know what happened to that ship." As the Starlight Voyager approached the derelict vessel, its massive, dark silhouette loomed against the vibrant nebula. The docking procedure was executed with precision, and soon, Captain Thin, Lieutenant Clore, and a small team of Xian soldiers boarded the human ship. The corridors were eerily silent, illuminated only by the flickering emergency lights. They moved cautiously through the wreckage, their senses heightened. The human technology was both familiar and alien, a stark reminder of the ongoing tensions and rare cooperation between their species. "Cargo bay ahead," Clore said, his voice a low rumble. The doors slid open with a hiss, revealing a scene of chaos, scattered crates, torn packaging, and what seemed to be the aftermath of a violent struggle. In the center of the bay sat a small, furry quadruped creature. It was unlike anything the Xians had encountered. A compact, fur-covered body with slitted eyes that gleamed in the dim light. The creature looked up lazily, its gaze both indifferent and calculating. "What in the stars?" Alara murmured, stepping closer. The creature stretched, yawned, and then, to the crew's astonishment, began to emit a rhythmic, soothing sound, a purr. "It's unclassified," Clore said, scanning the creature with a handheld device. "Found in the wreckage of the human ship. All signs point to it being a pet, but..." His voice trailed off as the creature approached a nearby energy rod. Without hesitation, it devoured the rod, the metal disintegrating as if consumed by an invisible force. Alara's eyes widened. "Our weapons can barely make a dent in those things. How did it?" Clore's eyes narrowed in thought. "We need to be cautious, Captain. This could be some sort of bioweapon engineered by humans." The creature, oblivious to the scrutiny, curled up into a ball and resumed its purring. The sound, oddly comforting, seemed to resonate within the cargo bay. "There it goes again with that noise," Alara muttered. "What's it doing?" "I believe it's calming itself," Clore responded, his tone tinged with both wonder and concern. "Or perhaps it's trying to calm us as a form of manipulation." Alara recoiled slightly, her eye stalks shooting straight up. "We can't allow it to gain control over our emotions. Send for a team of scientists immediately. We need to understand what we're dealing with." In short order, a group of serious-faced Xian scientists arrived, approaching the creature with extreme caution. They set up an array of instruments around it, measuring everything from its energy emissions to its metabolic rate. "It's not emitting any harmful radiation," reported Var, a grizzled veteran scientist. "In fact, its energy signature is quite low. It's consuming minimal resources for a creature of its size. Could it be masking its true nature?" Alara asked, her eyes never leaving the screen. "Unlikely," Var responded, scratching his chin with a claw. "If it were capable of such deception, we'd detect fluctuations in its bio readings. It's just a simple creature." As the scientists continued their analysis, a new group of figures entered the cargo bay, the humans from the salvage ship, brought aboard for questioning. Among them was Lieutenant David Harris, a calm and collected officer with a reputation for handling first-contact situations with aplomb. Harris was led to the bridge where Alara and Clore awaited him. "Human, what is that creature in our cargo bay?" Alara demanded, pointing to the screen where the animal now lay sprawled out, its belly exposed. Harris looked at the screen and chuckled. "Oh, you mean Whiskers? He's harmless." "Harmless?" Alara echoed incredulously. "It consumed an energy rod and displays behaviors we cannot comprehend." "Explain this." Cat to us. Harris smiled, realizing the misunderstanding. Cats are domesticated animals from Earth. They're kept as pets. They're not engineered bioweapons or apex predators, just companions. The purring you hear is a sign of contentment. Elara and Clore exchanged dubious glances. This contentment, Clore ventured, is it a form of psychological warfare? Harris shook his head, still smiling. No, it's just their way of showing they're happy. Cats have been living with humans for thousands of years. They're very good at surviving, but they're not dangerous to us. Despite Harris's reassurances, the Zeons remained cautious. They observed Whiskers for several more cycles, documenting its behavior meticulously. Meanwhile, the cat adapted quickly to its new environment, exploring the cargo bay with curiosity and even approaching the scientists, rubbing against their legs and purring louder. Captain Thin watched these interactions with a mix of fascination and bewilderment. Human, she said to Harris during one of their many discussions. How can such a small creature inspire such fear and confusion among our ranks? Harris shrugged. Cats have a way of getting under your skin. They're mysterious, independent, and sometimes, yes, a bit intimidating. But once you understand them, they're quite endearing. Elara pondered this. Perhaps it is not the creature itself that is the threat, but our ignorance of it. Exactly, Harris agreed. Understanding is the key. Once you get to know Whiskers, you'll see he's just looking for a comfortable place to sleep and a good meal. As days turned into weeks, the Zeon fear of Whiskers gradually turned to curiosity and then to affection. The scientists even started to take turns feeding him. Laughing at his antics and marveling at his agility and grace, one day, as Elara observed Whiskers chasing a small ball the scientists had given him, she turned to Harris with a rare smile. Perhaps we have much to learn from you humans, Lieutenant. This creature, this cat, has taught us more about ourselves than any other encounter. Harris nodded, a twinkle in his eye. That's the thing about cats, Captain. They have a way of making us see the world differently, even if it's just through their eyes. Whiskers had become an unexpected ambassador, his antics bridging the cultural chasm between humans and Zeons. The once feared monster was now a beloved fixture on the ship, and his presence opened the door to deeper understanding between the species. Chapter 2, The Bond. Life aboard the Starlight Voyager began to change in subtle ways as Whiskers made himself at home. The once sterile and orderly environment now had a touch of unpredictability, thanks to the small, furry stowaway. Captain Elara Thin observed these changes with a mixture of amusement and bemusement. Captain, we have another issue with the cat, Lieutenant Clore announced, entering the bridge with a report. It appears Whiskers has taken a liking to the energy rods stored in engineering. The crew is concerned about potential shortages. Elara sighed, her eye stalks twitching. I'll handle it. Where is he now? In the mess hall, chasing a laser pointer, Clore replied, a hint of exasperation in his voice. Elara couldn't help but smile. Whiskers had a knack for finding entertainment in the most mundane objects. She made her way to the mess hall, where a group of Zeons watched in fascination as Whiskers pounced and darted after the elusive red dot. Laughter, a rare sound on the ship, echoed through the room. Lieutenant Harris, Elara called out, spotting the human officer among the crowd. A word, please. Harris approached, his expression calm and attentive. Yes, Captain, your cat is causing quite a stir, Elara said, gesturing to the scene. We need to address his appetite for our energy rods. Any suggestions? Harris thought for a moment. Back on Earth, we used to feed our cats a special diet. Perhaps we can replicate something similar using our supplies. I'll work with the science team to come up with a solution. Good, Elara nodded. And while you're at it, see if you can find a way to keep him entertained that doesn't involve our critical resources, Harris chuckled. I'll see what I can do, Captain. As Harris and the science team worked on Whiskers' diet, the cat continued to explore the ship. His antics provided a welcome distraction from the routine of space travel. Crew members began to take turns playing with him, and Whiskers, in turn, seemed to bring out a softer side in the Zeons. One evening, as Alara was reviewing reports in her quarters, a soft purring sound interrupted her thoughts. She looked up to see Whiskers perched on her desk, his eyes half closed in contentment. "You again," she said, not unkindly. "What is it about you that's so captivating?" Whiskers blinked slowly, then rubbed his head against her hand. Alara hesitated, then tentatively scratched behind his ears. The purring intensified, and she found herself smiling despite herself. "Captain," Clore's voice crackled over the intercom. "We have a situation in engineering." Alara's smile faded. "On my way." She gently moved Whiskers aside and hurried to the engineering deck. When she arrived, she found the crew gathered around a control panel, their expressions tense. "Report," she ordered. "Spatial anomaly detected, Captain," Clore said. "It's causing fluctuations in our power grid. We're working to stabilize it, but it's proving difficult." Alara frowned. "Have we identified the source?" "Not yet," Clore admitted. "But we're monitoring it closely." Suddenly, a loud clanging sound echoed through the room. Whiskers had slipped into engineering unnoticed and was now pawing at a loose panel. The crew watched in disbelief as the cat nimbly maneuvered through the machinery. "Get him out of there!" Clore exclaimed, but before anyone could move, Whiskers did something unexpected. He nudged a small, dislodged component back into place with his nose, and the power fluctuations immediately began to stabilize. Alara stared in astonishment. "What just happened?" Gar, who had been monitoring the anomaly, spoke up. "It appears Whiskers identified the source of the issue and corrected it. His interaction with the control system somehow synchronized our grid." Clore shook his head in disbelief. "A cat just saved our ship." Alara couldn't help but laugh. "It seems we've underestimated our little stowaway. Ensure Whiskers is well cared for. He's proven himself invaluable." As the crew marveled at Whiskers' unexpected heroism, Alara felt a sense of pride. This small, seemingly insignificant creature had bridged the gap between species and shown them the value of cooperation. Whiskers had become more than just a pet. He was a symbol of unity and resilience. That night, as Alara stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars, she felt a soft nudge against her leg. Looking down, she saw Whiskers, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "Thank you, Whiskers," she whispered, stroking his fur. "You've taught us that even the smallest beings can make the biggest difference." Whiskers purred in response, a sound that echoed through the silent corridors of the Starlight Voyager, a reminder of the bond that now united them all. The Zeon ship's journey through the nebula continued, each day bringing new discoveries. However, the presence of the spatial anomaly kept everyone on edge. Despite Whiskers' unexpected help in stabilizing the ship, the crew knew that the anomaly was a constant threat. One evening, as the ship glided through a particularly dense cluster of stars, alarms blared once again. Alara, already on the bridge, turned to Clore. "Status report." Clore's eye stalks darted over the controls. "Captain, the anomaly is acting up again. This time, its energy readings are off the charts." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Can we evade it?" "We're trying, but it's pulling us in faster than before," Clore replied. His voice tense, Alara's mind raced. "Harris, get Whiskers to the bridge. We might need his assistance." Harris nodded and rushed to retrieve Whiskers. Within moments, the cat was in Alara's arms, purring softly. She placed him on the console, hoping his strange affinity for the ship systems would work its magic once more. Whiskers surveyed the controls, his eyes narrowing. He moved with purpose, his paws dancing over the buttons. The ship responded, adjusting its trajectory and redistributing power. The anomaly's pull lessened, but the danger was far from over. "We need more power to the engines," Clore said, his voice strained. "The anomaly is still drawing us in." Alara watched as Whiskers seemed to sense the urgency. The cat's movements became more precise, almost calculated. As he interacted with the controls, Alara noticed something unusual. The screens displayed energy patterns that mirrored those of the anomaly. Clore, look at this, she said, pointing to the readings. Clore's eyes widened. It's as if Whiskers is communicating with the anomaly. Elara's mind whirled with possibilities. What if Whiskers isn't just reacting to the anomaly, but is somehow connected to it? Before Clore could respond, the anomaly pulsed, sending a shockwave through the ship. Whiskers leaped off the console, narrowly avoiding a burst of sparks. The crew struggled to regain control as systems overloaded. Divert all non-essential power to the shields, Elara ordered. We need to stabilize the ship. As the crew worked frantically, Whiskers prowled around the bridge, his eyes scanning the chaos. He paused near a secondary control panel, his ears twitching. Elara watched in fascination as he pressed a series of buttons with surprising accuracy. The ship's systems began to stabilize, and the anomaly's pull weakened. Clore checked the readings, his voice filled with awe. The anomaly's energy levels are decreasing. Whatever Whiskers did, it's working. Elara breathed a sigh of relief. Keep monitoring the situation. I want a full analysis of what just happened. Harris approached, his face etched with concern. Captain, this can't be a coincidence. Whiskers has some kind of connection to the anomaly. Elara nodded. I agree. We need to understand this connection if we're going to navigate safely, over the next few days. The science team conducted extensive tests on Whiskers, trying to uncover the secret behind his abilities. They discovered that his brain emitted frequencies that resonated with the anomaly. It was as if he was in tune with the cosmic phenomenon. Captain, Vor reported, our findings suggest that Whiskers is acting as a conduit. His presence stabilizes the anomaly's fluctuations. Elara considered this. If Whiskers can stabilize the anomaly, could he help us map its patterns? Vor nodded. It's possible. With his help, we could chart a course through the nebula without risking the ship. Elara turned to Harris. Lieutenant, I need you to work closely with Whiskers. Monitor his interactions and gather as much data as possible. We're going to use his unique abilities to our advantage. Harris smiled, scratching Whiskers behind the ears. You've got it, Captain. We'll figure this out together. As the ship continued its journey, Whiskers became an integral part of the crew. His instincts and actions provided invaluable insights into the anomaly's behavior. The Zeons and humans worked side by side, their initial distrust replaced by mutual respect and cooperation. One evening, as the ship glided through a particularly turbulent stretch of space, Elara stood on the observation deck, reflecting on the events that had brought them to this point. Whiskers sat beside her, his eyes reflecting the swirling stars. We've come a long way, haven't we? Elara said softly. You've shown us that even in the vastness of space, there are connections we can't explain. Whiskers purred in response, a sound that resonated with hope and possibility. Elara knew that their journey was far from over, but with Whiskers by their side, they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store. The Zeon ship, now equipped with newfound knowledge and respect for Whiskers, continued its exploration of the nebula. Each day brought fresh discoveries and challenges, but the bond between the crew and their unexpected guardian grew stronger. As the ship ventured deeper into the nebula, Elara and her crew remained vigilant. The anomaly, while stable for now, still posed a threat. They had to be ready for anything. One morning, as the ship cruised through a particularly dense region of space, the sensors picked up an unusual signal. Clore, always on high alert, immediately analyzed the data. Captain, we're detecting a distress signal, he reported. It's coming from a nearby star system. Elara's eyes narrowed. Is it from another human ship? Clore shook his head. No, Captain. It's a Zeon vessel. Elara's heart skipped a beat. A Zeon ship this far out was unusual. Set a course for the signal. Prepare for possible rescue operations. As the ship approached the source of the distress signal, they found a Zeon scout ship, heavily damaged and adrift. Elara ordered the crew to bring the survivors aboard and render aid. The scout ship's captain, a grizzled veteran named Zarek, was brought to the bridge. His expression was one of relief mixed with urgency. Captain Elara, thank the stars you found us," Elara greeted him warmly. "Captain Zarek, what happened?" Zarek took a deep breath. "We were exploring this sector when we encountered a massive energy surge. It came out of nowhere and disabled our systems. We barely managed to send out a distress signal." Elara's eyes widened. "An energy surge? Was it from the anomaly?" Zarek nodded. "It was like nothing we've ever seen. It felt alive." Elara exchanged a look with Clore and Harris. "We've had our own encounters with the anomaly. Our ship was nearly pulled in twice. But thanks to Whiskers here, we managed to stabilize." Zarek's gaze shifted to the cat sitting calmly on the console. "A cat? How?" Elara explained Whiskers' unique abilities and their connection to the anomaly. Zarek listened in astonishment. "That's incredible. We need to understand this anomaly if we're to survive out here." Over the next few days, the two crews worked together, sharing knowledge and resources. Whiskers, as always, was at the center of their efforts. His interactions with the ship's systems provided crucial data that helped both crews navigate the anomaly's unpredictable behavior. One evening, as the ship drifted through a particularly beautiful stretch of the nebula, Elara and Zarek stood on the observation deck, discussing their findings. Whiskers sat nearby, his eyes reflecting the swirling colors outside. "We've learned so much from this journey," Elara said, her voice filled with wonder. "Not just about the anomaly, but about ourselves," Zarek nodded. "Indeed. Whiskers has shown us that even the smallest creatures can have the greatest impact. We must approach the unknown with curiosity and respect." As they spoke, the ship's sensors picked up another surge from the anomaly. This time, it was different, more intense and focused. Clore's urgent voice came through the comms. "Captain, the anomaly is fluctuating again. It's creating a gravitational pull. We need to act fast." Elara and Zarek rushed to the bridge, with Whiskers following closely. The crew worked frantically to stabilize the ship. But the anomaly's pull was too strong. "Whiskers, we need you," Harris said, placing the cat on the console. Whiskers, sensing the gravity of the situation, moved with purpose. His paws danced over the controls, and the ship's systems responded, adjusting their trajectory and redistributing power. The anomaly's pull lessened, but it wasn't enough. "We're still being drawn in," Clore reported, his voice tense. "We need more power." Elara watched Whiskers closely. The cat seemed to understand the stakes. He pressed a final sequence of buttons, and the ship's engines roared to life, pushing them away from the anomaly's grasp. The pull weakened, and the ship stabilized. The bridge fell silent, the crew staring in awe at Whiskers. Elara approached, her voice filled with gratitude. "You've done it again, Whiskers. You've saved us." Harris knelt beside the cat, scratching behind his ears. "You're more than just a pet, aren't you?" As the ship continued its journey, the crew marveled at the mystery and wonder of the universe. Whiskers had shown them that even in the vastness of space, there was always room for hope and connection. The anomaly, once feared, had become a symbol of their unity and resilience. Elara stood on the observation deck, gazing at the stars with a sense of peace. "We've come a long way," she said softly, as Whiskers purred beside her. "And with Whiskers by our side, there's nothing we can't face." The stars stretched out before them, endless and full of promise. Together, they would explore the unknown, guided by the lessons they had learned and the bonds they had forged. In the vast expanse of space, they had found not just survival, but a new sense of purpose and understanding, and as they journeyed onward, Whiskers remained their steadfast companion, a guardian, a bridge, and a reminder of the extraordinary potential within even the smallest of beings.